baseball fans, and welcome to the original Box Score Challenge. Wanted to introduce you to the website here at boxscorepuzzles.com, where, as the homepage suggests, some of the game's greatest stars come back to life. Well, how is that? It's through some of the unique puzzles that we've designed that allow you to take the clues provided in a historical box score and recreate the games from the past. So let's take a look at these puzzles. If you click down on the drop-down menu, you can see a list of those puzzles that are available, and we're going to choose the 1949 Brooklyn Dodgers as an example. You'll first see some information on the featured team or player, but if we scroll down a little further, we have a link to the puzzle, and if we click on that, we can see here the actual historical box score from a game played September 24th, 1949 between the Philadelphia Phillies and Brooklyn Dodgers. And before we jump into the details, I did want to note that you're not able to complete these puzzles online. You're going to have to print them off. So if you hit Control P, this will give you the option to print it off, and I would suggest you put it in landscape format in order that the puzzle fits onto one page. But back to the box score here. Again, we have the results for each of the Brooklyn Dodger hitters as well as each of the Philadelphia Phillies pitchers, and some additional clues. Your objective is to take this information and to complete this scorecard here. Now, I'm sure some of you are saying that there's no way that I can complete a scorecard based simply upon the clues from the box score, and you're absolutely correct, which is why we're going to use a modified scoring approach, which we'll discuss here shortly. But what our real objective here is to account for each of the batter's plate appearances, so that when we're finished, the results should match up with the stats you see here in the box score for the hitter and for the pitchers. And when you're done, the scorecard should look something like you see on the How to Play page here at the website, where each of the hitter's plate appearances are recorded, and the results, as I mentioned, do line up with the stats of the box score. So using Ruth as an example, he was charged with 5 at-bats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He scored 1 run here in the 6th inning. He had 2 hits, 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 6th, and he had 4 RBIs, all coming here in the 6th inning. Likewise, if we look at the pitcher's lines, Lefty Grove pitched 2 innings, the 5th and the 6th. He gave up 3 hits, 1, 2, 3. He allowed 5 runs, all of them earned, 1 here in the 5th, and 4 here in the 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4. He issued 4 walks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and he pitched to a total of 13 batters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now about that modified scoring approach that I mentioned. With the box score, there really is no difference in how an out was made. Whether the batter was retired on a strikeout, a pop out, a ground out, an out is an out. And therefore, we're simply going to record any out as OUT. Likewise with the hits, the box score really doesn't make any discernment as to whether it was a single, double, triple, or home run. A hit is a hit, and so we're simply going to record those as with an H. If a batter reached on a walk, we'll record that with a W. Hit by pitch, HBP. Batter reaches on an error, we'll record that with an E, though I will mention if a batter does reach base on an error, we'll record that in the notes to the box score that you see here. And jumping back to the Dodgers puzzle, we did see we had Eddie Mickus who reached on an error during the game. Fielder's choice, we'll record those with an FC, but similar to what we just discussed with an error, if a batter does reach base on a fielder's choice that does have an impact on your ability to recreate the game, we'll disclose that in the notes to the box score. So those might include a batter who reaches on a fielder's choice and was credited with an RBI, or maybe he reached on a fielder's choice and eventually came around to score. Again, you'll find those types of instances disclosed in the notes. Sacrifice flies and sacrifice hits, those two will be disclosed in the notes to the box score. If a batter does score a run during the inning, we'll indicate that with an R. And if a batter knocked in a run, we'll signify that with an I. Now, if that at-bat results in multiple RBIs, we'll precede the I with the actual number of RBIs during that at-bat. So Ruth, for example, here you can see had 4 RBIs during the 6th inning. Now, we do provide some additional hints too for those of you who may not be as familiar with baseball scoring. There are certain events in which a batter is not charged with an at-bat. Though he comes to the plate, he has a plate appearance, he is not charged with an at-bat. And those would be walks, hit by pitches, sacrifice flies, or sacrifice hits. And we can see several examples of that here in the box score. With Earl Combs, you can see that he has 5 plate appearances that have been recorded, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but he's only charged with 4 at-bats, and that's because one of those at-bats resulted in a walk. Likewise, with Wilcie Moore down here, he had 2 plate appearances, one here in the 6th and one in the 7th, but he's only charged with 1 at-bat because his plate appearance in the 6th resulted in a sacrifice hit. Those batters reaching on an error, they are not credited with a hit, though they are charged with an at-bat. So if we look at Tony Lazzari here, he had 2 hits during the game, as well as reaching base once on an error. But you can see here he's actually credited only with 2 hits, and he was charged with 4 at-bats. For fielder's choice, again, the batter may reach base, but he's not credited with a hit. So if we look at Johnny Grabowski here, who actually had 2 fielder's choice in the game, nonetheless, he was never credited with a hit, and he was charged with 3 at-bats. He was not charged with 4 at-bats because he did have a walk here in the 6th. Now, one of the fundamental principles or assumptions that we use in solving these puzzles is that if a runner reaches base, he is either going to score or is going to be left on base at the end of the inning. If he is retired before the end of the inning, for instance, if he's caught stealing, he's picked off, or maybe he tried to stretch a single into an extra base hit, those type of events will be disclosed in the notes to the box score. If you don't see those types of events disclosed, you can rest assured, or following our assumption, that he either scored or he was left on base. Now, we do have some additional hints here to solving the puzzles, but I would recommend that you come back up to the top of the How to Play page and look at this tutorial that we've prepared. It will walk through the logic that we used in solving this particular puzzle that we've used in the example. And it'll give you some hints and some ideas as how to go about tackling some of the other puzzles that we have made available on the website. But once you've completed the puzzle, if we go back to our Dodgers puzzle, we can see at the bottom of the page we do provide a link to the solution, and that will be provided in the scorecard format, as well as we'll walk through the logic that we used in solving the puzzle. Now, that's not to say that you may reach the same solution using other logic, but we wanted to provide this to you in the event that you hit a wall or just having difficulty in determining some of the at-bats here or plate appearances, that this will provide you some helpful information. So hopefully you'll find these puzzles enjoyable. If so, I would encourage you to visit our contact page and follow us on either Twitter or Facebook, where we'll provide you notification of any additional puzzles that we add. Or you can drop us comments that you may have at boxscorepuzzles@gmail.com. Again, I hope you enjoy these puzzles, and thank you for your time.